well, we are back with the Confluence Podcast. My name is Luke Geraty, and I am with the infamous Kevin K, one of our guides. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. So you had quite the, your finger got cut off.
Yeah. Yeah. 3 words for you. Go-kart, sprocket, chain.
Yeah.
Maybe that's 4 words if go-kart is 2 words.
But you can still, you're going to be able to row.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. It's
healing quickly.
Yeah, that's good. So, well, on this episode, we're going to talk about the Lower Sac, and we'll talk about steelheading on the Trinity River.
Yep.
And just kind of catch up. But this is the first time you've ever been on the podcast.
True.
You've been guiding, though, for Confluence for, what, 8 years?
No, it's longer than that.
10 years?
Kim tells me it's like 10 or 12 years.
Oh, okay.
Time flies.
Yeah, that's a long time. So,
yeah.
You people would have seen you used to have a pretty special boat out there.
Oh, my Boulder?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You built it.
Yeah, I had a Boulder Boat Works boat that I built from a kid. It was if you're not familiar with those, they're a polymer plastic hull with all wood trim and stuff. Yeah.
I remember that boat because I always see it, and it was so pretty.
Yeah, I rode that for about 9 years, and then I just decided I needed more room and bought a Clackacraft Big Eddy with this walk-around situation, so nobody's stepping over benches and tripping and stuff, you know.
Yeah. So how'd you get into fly fishing?
Oh, well, I'd say like most people, I started out gear fishing, you know, as a kid. In college, I went to UC Davis, where I got 2 A's, fencing and fly fishing.
Oh, so is that where you learned to fly fish?
You know, I dabbled in it, I would say. You know, I lived in the Bay Area, and I would drive all the way up to the Upper Sac and go camping and fishing, but I'd start out with my spinning rod, and if I was successful, I'd switch over to a little bit of fly fishing.
Okay.
You know? But I just gradually, you know, when I first moved here 40 years ago, I used to fish crickets on the Lower Sac.
Oh.
Live crickets.
Wow. Gross.
Yeah, they were deadly.
Yeah, that's actually what I hear from all my friends that live here.
Oh, my gosh.
They all say that they would just use crickets.
Well, 40 years ago was before the temperature control in the dam. It was before all the current regulations and everything. And got a little jet boat, and we'd go out and drift live crickets and
murder them.
What a way to go. You know?
Yeah,
I mean, it was still catch and release.
Yeah.
Or we did it voluntarily. I don't really remember. But, you know, I just transitioned into fly fishing. My wife, when I met her about 20 years ago, said she lived over near the fly shop. And she said, let's go out on a trip, half-day trip. So we went out. It turned out she knew the guide from when he was a young man. And just that one half day on the river just sort of boing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got on Craigslist or something the next day and found an old wooden drift boat up in Oregon and ran up and bought it. And
you were never looked back.
Yeah,
okay.
That was it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've guided for 10 plus years here for Confluence.
Yeah.
And so you guided for on the Lower Sac.
Yeah.
And then you also guided on the Trinity.
I did for a few years. Yeah. I've decided to just concentrate on the Lower Sac for now. I just it's hard to explain. I love fishing the Trinity. I didn't really love guiding the Trinity. It's just the expectation of
the anxiety of
not catching any fish, you know.
Yeah, every Trinity guide has to see a therapist, really.
Yeah. And then I'd go out and catch, 7 or 8 adult steelhead one day and literally go back the next day and get skunked. So
yeah.
I decided to take it easy on myself.
Focus on the Lower Sac. All right.
Yeah, focus on the Lower Sac.
Well, I'm focusing on both. So
yeah, I know you are.
Yeah, well, but you're affectionately known by many clients as Grandpa Kev Dog.
Yeah, I'm certainly one of the older guys out there now.
Yeah.
Not the oldest.
Yeah, you might be.
I think I might be.
Yeah, he might be the oldest guy out there.
Yeah.
So cut him some slack. Jeez.
Yeah, geez. Come on.
Yeah, give him some room. Yeah. So, well, so you've been fly fishing for a long time. And I think I met you probably 8 years ago, 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah, when you first moved here and you were on a group trip on the Sac.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was when I
saw your boat and I was like, that's a lovely boat, sir.
Yeah.
And you said, I built it.
Yeah.
I didn't have a good response to that. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, we've been working together a lot, group trips, and always love being out there with you. become a good friend, and we've fished a lot of places together too.
Yeah, had our share of adventures and
Scary,
incidents.
scary moments. Yeah. So let's talk about the Lower Sac a little bit. What do you love about the Lower Sac?
Well, I mean, a lot of what I'm going to say is familiar to people that are used to fishing the Lower Sac, but so I'm going to make some comments that for people that maybe don't have any clue as to what it really is. I mean, the Lower Sac, as we call it affectionately, is the Lower Sacramento River. The Sacramento River is obviously the largest, longest, biggest river in California. And it originates up near Mount Shasta as a small stream, flows into Lake Siskiyou up there. And then there's a little dam, and then from there down to Lake Shasta. That's what we call the Upper Sac. But, technically it's the Sacramento River. If you look at a map, it doesn't say Upper Sac, Lower Sac. So to differentiate, we call the Sacramento River above Lake Shasta the Upper Sac, and we call the river below Lake Shasta the Lower Sac. But I've had people from Sacramento, for example, that live down there, and because they're used to the Sacramento River being there, they think coming to Redding
is the upper.
And it's the upper.
Yeah.
It's the upper Lower Sac, right?
Yeah.
But it's really all the Sacramento River, but that's how we differentiate it, upper and lower.
Yeah, it's just more of a local phrase, right?
Yeah. And even though the upper Sacramento is technically tailwater, which is a river below a dam, I mean, I think it fishes more like a freestone stream because of all the tributaries and stuff that it has. So it behaves more like a freestone in that the flows can vary wildly according to rain and tributary action, where the lower Sacramento, the part we fish up here, doesn't have a lot of tributaries and is really, the flow is governed by Shasta Dam.
Yeah, but it's coming out of the Keswick or...
Keswick Reservoir is like a buffer zone, Keswick Dam, Shasta Dam, and that keeps the flow in the area we fish relatively consistent, where the flows out of Shasta Dam fluctuate wildly during the day because of power generation needs. So then the river that we fish would be going up and down all day, whereas it's Keswick Reservoir that goes up and down all day. So anyway, that's sort of the geography of the river. And the Lower Sacramento River is a big river. We fish it out of drift boats. The drift trips, I think the Lower Sacramento drift boat trips are our most popular option for fishing because you've got to work really hard to get skunked out there.
Yeah, you've said that for years.
You've got to put some effort into it.
I've worked pretty hard. I got to be honest. This summer, I worked hard.
It's very good for beginners.
Yeah,
we take a lot of beginners and newbies out there. The technique we use, is bobber fishing. It's drifting nymphs, and that's the most productive method out there. It's relatively easily taught if you'll just pay attention a little bit and follow some basic instructions. You're going to catch some fish. So I mean, I think that makes it a great destination for newcomers, experienced people. You want to bring friends, family, kids to fish. It's a great place to fish.
Yeah. I mean, so what do you love about it, though? That's the question.
I like big water. I'm not a walk wade guy or whatever. I like fishing out of my boat and all the opportunities it opens up for fishing what would otherwise be inaccessible water. I just like the nuances of a big river and figuring out. The hardest thing about the Lower Sacramento, about guiding it and fishing it, is the huge variance in flows during the year, because it's a different river at 3,000 as it is at 7,000 CFS. So CFS, I'm sure you guys know this, but cubic feet per second of water released out of the dam. And you got to picture a cube of water a foot on a side going past a given point in 1 second. So if you've got a flow of 10,000 cubic feet per second, that's a lot of water.
Yeah. Right? It's down at, it's like 45 or 46 right now or something like that. Or
it's going down, yeah. It's going down, but it was, like my last.
Because I love it at 45.
Yeah.
I think all the guides are
it's a lot of water.
Yeah.
Like the Upper Sacramento at its low is like 200 cubic
Yeah,
feet
yeah,
per second.
yeah.
The lowest it gets on the lower Sac is in the 3,000 range in the winter. And it'll go up in a typical year up to, 12 to 15,000 CFS in the summer for irrigation needs and whatever. But yeah, a common question I get when I take people out is, what's the best time of year to fish the Lower Sac? And I tell them, well, traditionally it's spring. The flows start coming up, the temperatures start coming up, the bugs start popping.
PMD start showing up.
Caddis, it can be just awesome.
Yeah.
And then I also tell them October because of the quote egg bite, right?
Yeah.
When the salmon enter the system. Now we're not fishing for salmon. It's illegal to fish for salmon above the Deschutes Bridge.
Do you have to always tell clients, no, we can't catch those 40-pound fish that you see swimming around?
But the trout, when the salmon show up to spawn, the trout go bonkers for salmon eggs.
Yeah.
So they'll move out of their normal holding areas and you find spawning salmon in a foot of water, there's going to be trout behind them.
Yeah.
So it's pretty exciting fishing that way.
Yeah.
Now, having said all that, what I tell people is the last 2 years, the flows in the spring have been just insane. I mean, what the heck? This summer,
60,000, 30,000.
I mean, it was 4,000, and then overnight it's 40,000.
Yeah.
And you're going, what's happening, right? And then it goes down to 20, and then it goes to 30, and back down to 8. And they were, for a couple of reasons. If we get too much rainfall, they have to anticipate the lake levels. They were also doing pulse flows, trying to flush juvenile salmon down river quicker to the ocean and try and help that resource. But boy, it screwed up the fishing in the spring. It was terrible. And it does a lot of things. It rips out weeds and bug life. It redistributes the fish, God knows where. And they've done this the last 2 years. So the last 2 springs have not been good fishing, right? And October, until this year, the last 3 years, we've had really poor salmon returns. So the egg bite has been not good the last 3 years. This year, finally, we have some salmon that showed up. And
I say it's the best egg bite I've ever experienced in 10 years.
It was good. Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know if it's over or tapering off or whatever, but all of a sudden we had salmon in the usual spots. They come back to.
They were everywhere.
Yeah, they come back to their same reds to spawn. And,
I mean, I actually saw you catching fish out there.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, who is that guy?
What's he doing
Kevin
over
K.
there?
It's Kevin K. Clients doubled up multiple times.
But this year, we had a decent salmon return. I don't know about the best in 10 years or whatever.
Yeah. For me, I mean, I don't think that I've had a better egg bite.
But given the last 3 years prior to this, really, really good.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens this coming spring if they're going to do the crazy flows again. A lot of it has to do with what rainfall we get.
Yeah.
But we had a few years ago, I don't remember the exact number of years, where we had so little rain and the lake was so low, they kept the flows almost at a wintertime flow all year. And it was awesome because the fish were always in the same place.
Yeah, they were all concentrated in the trouties.
But you just have to realize that when they change the flows, I mean, in normal circumstances, they change the flows 500 CFS. It usually puts the fishing off a little bit. So you can imagine what 40,000 does.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, typical wisdom prior to all this was, if the flows change 500 or 1,000, the fish are going to move. They're in a spot where they're comfortable, the flow's right, the depth is right, everything. And all of a sudden, boom, they go up or down. They got to go find another place to hang out. And sometimes that takes a couple days.
Yeah.
Right?
So, I mean, it seems like in the spring fishing, we just have had to be flexible.
Very flexible.
So either, rescheduling or other fisheries around here, which shall remain unnamed. I will not tell people what I'm doing.
Yeah, you've had some other options.
Yeah.
But the flow regime has been a problem in the spring.
Yeah.
And the salmon return has been a problem in October.
Yeah. But I think I was shocked this year with the salmon return because I think we all had kind of been actually. I think Andrew, the owner of Confluence, one of the owners, had been saying, "Hey, we were kind of hesitant to say, because in the past you and I have done multiple videos and video reports and talking about egg bite where we'd say sometime between like September 25th to the 15th of November. It's kind of like your window. Mm-hmm. And, you know, maybe a little hesitant this year because the last 2 years weren't great returns. But this year it was like, whoa.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And I remember once years ago you asked me, when's the egg bite going to start on a video? And I said October 3rd. Yeah. Some guy called up, I want to book October 3rd.
He booked that day. I know, that's funny. Yeah.
We're joking. Yeah, we don't know when they're coming back.
I always tell people that the salmon don't have a calendar.
Yeah.
So they don't like have it's you know, October 1st, we should be there. But but this year was, man, it was, and it has been. I mean, it's definitely been slowing down a little bit. You know, we're in the first week of November now, but it's still great. Like I was telling Matt Scolante, one of the other guides, you know, it was so good for about 3 weeks where it was just like epic. Every day it was like, oh, I don't know if it's going to get any better. And then the next day would be even better. And so now it's starting to slow down a little bit, but slowing down might still be 40 fish or 30 fish, which is still, I mean.
Yeah, my last trip out, I mean, I was out one day and there were salmon in a certain spot, and then I was out the next day and they weren't there anymore.
Yeah,
you know, because they die and
they burn out
down river.
Yeah, I call those burned out reds. Like they've already spawned. They're no longer, you know, there. So.
But we could always get a fresh push of fish.
Yeah. Well, also, the nice thing about the Lower Sac is that we've got nearly 45 miles of river to fish, and the reds tend to, in my experience, tend to be further up, and as the season progresses, they work their way down. So certain sections of the river now are having, you know, salmon show up right now and start to show up. Yeah.
That's true.
It's I mean, it's an incredible river because of that. You know, the tailwater fishery. There's so much bug life, you know, and kind of spread out.
You know, back to touching on the flow changes, and you know, it's
not helping us.
It's a different river at 3,000 than it is at 15,000.
Yeah. Actually, that was my favorite thing about 2 years ago when the flow started to. Like we actually had winter flow or summer flows. There were a couple guides that I'm friends with that were kind of new, and they were like, what do I do now? They're like, it's a completely different river. And I was like, oh yeah, we had to like remember what we used to do back when it was consistently 10 to 15,000 all summer versus, you know, the 40, I think it was like 46 or 4,900 for like 4 years.
I think it was less than that.
Yeah. It was pretty crazy. So you love the Lower Sac because of the different variations of water, you know, you have a lot of different options, riffles, long runs, drops.
I like it because, you know, I mean, not everybody feels this way, but I really like indicator fishing. Yeah. That's how I learned to fish. Yeah. It's super effective. It's easily taught.
Yeah.
And people that say it doesn't take any skill, I mean, it does take a lot of skill to do it well.
Yeah. Well, whenever I hear people say that, it's generally people that I'm on a trip with, and I see them using an indicator, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not listening to you because you're not a ninja. Like, you actually don't know what you're doing. So I think you're right. Yeah.
It takes a lot of skill to do it well. There's a lot going on with, you know, the right amount of slack and getting a good drift, and mending is super important.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's true about, you know, all different techniques of fly fishing, is that you can go down the rabbit hole and become a ninja, you know, because just because you can do I'm not a great spay caster. I can do it. I can definitely, you know, swing flies, but I mean, there's like Randy Heyman, one of our guides, I was out with him on spay camp. He is such a good spay caster. I'm just like, oh, like, I don't even I'm like, hey, look that way while I cast, because I don't want you to see my snap tee, you know?
Yeah.
You know, so you can, but dry fly fishing, the same thing, right? You know, there's people that, there's a lot of techniques, different types of casting you can do. You can do airmens, and you can do reach casts and things like that.
Yeah, so, to each his own, you know?
Yeah.
But I just, you know.
Yeah.
People put
You
down,
like bobbers.
I like bobber fishing.
I do too. I have no problem with it too.
Good way to catch fish, and I love doing it. And, you know, we'll do other stuff out there when the opportunity presents itself.
Yeah.
You know, those few dry fly opportunities. But I'll let people ask me that, you know, like halfway through the day. Any dry fly fishing? I go, how many fish have you seen rising today?
Yeah.
None.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it happens like at certain times.
Yeah. Do you remember that time that I took you out at a place? I won't say where, but because almost every evening there was tons of, you know, and you went out, I think you caught 20-inch fish on a certain fly that shall remain nameless.
Yeah.
Mercer's Missing Link. Yeah. Size 18, but you got like a really nice fish. Remember, there were fish blowing up everywhere.
Awesome.
Well, I went out the next day. I don't know if I told you this. I took a friend. I was like, oh yeah, my friend Kevin. We went out the night before, and it was epic. We got grabs, and then I went out the next day. No difference in the flow, no difference in the temperature, no difference in anything, and there was not a single fish rising.
Yeah.
No bugs, and we didn't see any.
Yeah. So, well, that's obviously driven by the bug hatches, you know.
Yeah,
and
there weren't any bugs.
And that's another thing that the flow changes in the spring have really screwed up is the bug hatches.
Yeah.
You know, those little guys are living in the rocks or the weeds or whatever, and all of a sudden the rocks go tumbling down the river and everybody gets crushed and the weeds get ripped out. The bug hatches have not been the same. You know, haven't had the big caddis hatches in the spring because, you know, and the bugs will come back.
Yeah.
You know, when we...
Well, I mean, it just seems like it's like any fishery, you know, because that's one thing as kind of an outsider in some ways is I hear people complaining about certain things and I'm
outsider? You're not an outsider.
I'm still new. I've only been here for 10 years, so...
Yeah, you're not an outsider.
I'm an outsider. I'm not an OG vet like you, but because you're, you know, the oldest guy on the river.
Probably.
But I think that, you know, it's typical for a lot of fisheries to have a lot of variations for bugs and flows. I mean, that's when I would hear people complain about the flow thing. I was like, oh, that's, you know, we have a lot of rivers have melt runoff, you know, situations. I mean, I was in Montana. It was probably 10 years ago now, and I just remember we were there like right before the runoff, and so the fishing was great. And then the week after that, my buddy who guides over there was like, "Oh yeah, the rivers are blown for probably the next month." And I was like, "Oh man."
Yeah, definitely first world problems.
Yeah, I mean, you know, but I think that one of the things I love about the Lower Sac is, you know, is that, like you said, you do have to work kind of hard to get skunked. You know, and I mean, it doesn't happen very often to where you have a really, 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 really tough day. Because even when the flow changes, we can still find, like, you can find seams. We do have tight lining. You know, we can do tight lining, which tends to be, for you, do you feel like the tight lining is like your last resort? Like,
I mean, yeah. I mean,
you break out those rods.
That's as close to spinning as you can get. You know.
So you don't like it?
No, I do.
Oh, okay.
But I've had it save my day a couple of times. You know,
when you're like, oh, okay, we're getting rid of these indicators, we're going tight line.
Yeah, but the thing I like most about tight lining is it's really taught me that, you know, we always think we're fishing on the bottom, right, with our indicator rig.
You're not.
No, but the tight lining has taught me that
it's a lot deeper than you realize.
It's a lot deeper, and the fish are suspended. You know, they're not always on the bottom.
Yeah.
You know, we're tight lining a place with our whiskers, and we know, gee, that's 15 feet deep here, and I normally fish 7 feet deep here, and I catch fish. I'm not on the bottom. I'm nowhere near the bottom.
Yeah, I've been explaining to different clients that you know, because I've had. I mean, I really focused. I feel like, it was maybe 4 years ago I started really trying to figure the tight line thing out. You know, and a lot of that's due to my friend James Geraty about trout. You know, my friend, because he just got me thinking about it. I was like, oh yeah. But I noticed that there was water that I thought was maybe 10 feet. I was like, oh, I think it's probably about 10 feet here, maybe 11, because we're making note, right? Because every client, how deep is it? Right?
Yeah.
We're always like, you know.
2 inches over there.
Yeah, it just depends, right?
20 feet over there.
It all depends. But there was water that I thought was 10, 11, 12 feet max. And, you know, I'd go through there with my tight line set up, and you can actually know for sure.
Yeah.
And it was like 18 feet.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, gosh, you know. And so there were times that those runs would fish really, really well. And I think it was when the bugs were popping off and you have fish suspended at different, you know, locations. But, like, when they're on the bottom, they're at 18 feet.
Yeah.
And the bobber rod ain't going to get it
Not
done.
happening.
Yeah, it ain't going to happen. So, yeah, that's why it's nice to have a lot of different.
A backup.
Yeah. I don't do it as a backup. I do it a lot. you see me out there, I'm like, hide those rods.
Well, and that all depends, too, on, you know, you've got somebody brand new and you're just getting the hang of the bobber thing. You don't really want to introduce a whole
I feel like with the tight line, I feel like it might be easier for some people, too, to start that way. You know, like I actually had a dad took I think his daughter was like 14, 15 years old, and we just went straight to tight line. I was like, I'm not even going to mess around with bobbers. We had a half day, I think, and she, you know, did really, really well with the tight line. It was like, you know, I taught her the whole process. You know, there's a 3-step, you know.
Yep.
lift, dip, and lead, that kind of your proverbial tight line methodology. And man, she like right away banged, a fair number of really nice fish.
Nice.
And it was like she was able to get that cast,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, is it really
Not
cast?
really a cast.
Is it really a cast? Yeah. Like you said, it's pretty close to. I mean, if I'm gonna look down on any of the techniques, that's the one that, I love it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I've gotten pretty good at it, but it is definitely like not really fly cast. I'll admit that on.
Well, you have flies and a fly rod and a fly reel and
plastic sometimes makes its way onto those.
Yeah.
Those setups. Not with me, of course. I would never do that. But I would never use a bead.
Never, right?
Never.
Yeah.
Only yarn. But yeah. So those are some of the reasons. What do you think about? I mean, you like the spring and October? I mean, October is hard not to like. Actually, don't you feel like? Well, my experience on the Sac was even when we didn't have egg bite, October fished really, really well.
It was still fished well. It just wasn't that targeting.
It wasn't with
thing.
Beads.
Yeah, we fish the Lower Sac year round.
Yeah,
I mean, it's obviously a little slower in the heat of the summer. The fishing can still be pretty good, but not everybody's up for all day at 112 degrees.
Yeah, for me, I think doing the half-day evening floats was really pretty effective. Yeah, I mean, we did the fishing was really great.
Yeah, and I've done some split days in the summer where we'll go out early and fish till noon. They'll go back to their hotel, hang out at the pool, go out in the afternoon, and fish till evening. And it's easy for me because I live so close.
Yeah, it's not great for me.
Not easy for you.
I'm like, oh, good, you get to drive twice.
No, it's very easy for me to do that kind of thing too. And in the depths of winter, it can be pretty slow also. But
I would say December and January, I was just telling somebody, I think that's when I tend to catch the biggest fish.
True.
Yeah, I mean, they have, right, because they spend all of October and November just gorging on protein, huevos, eggs,
huevos,
right?
rancheros.
Yeah, they're all about it. And then it's a little, you don't have the same numbers in December and January. No. But man, I'm talking like.
Yeah. Big fat fish.
Big fat fish, yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah. And then, so springs generally, it all depends on flows, but you have tons of blue-wing olives, PMD start showing up, caddises are still around.
Yep.
I haven't done really well. I've tried to use the little fake salmon smolt, the little egg sac still. I've had varying degrees on that.
Yeah, I gave up on that.
Yeah, I had one day where, like, I saw these birds. They were clearly eating, smolts or something. I threw one on and I caught a bunch of fish on it, but that was one day.
Yeah.
In 10 years.
Yeah, I never realized the birds were eating the salmon smolt.
I don't know if they were. It just worked.
They do.
Correspondingly.
Yeah, you can see them dive down underwater.
Oh, yeah, they were like going crazy. I was like, oh, sweet. So threw one of those on. But I haven't ever gotten a fish on the Lower Sac on a flesh fly, though.
A flesh fly?
Yeah. So.
Like
in Alaska, or I think even in Washington State, they will. Definitely in Canada, they'll use, there's different types of flesh flies. It's generally rabbit, fur, ginger colors, white. But in Alaska, that's like, steak and eggs, pin bead above a big old, honking flesh fly. I've used them on the Lower Sac. I have not ever had a fish eat. I would love if someone's listening to this and they have had success, please confirm. But,
I've always just figured those guys were eating bugs all the time.
Yeah, I don't think they like salmon flesh that's rotting.
And that's, like, why we don't see a lot of people like pulling plugs and spinning and stuff, because those trout are not used to eating hunks of metal and big pieces of plastic and stuff like that.
But they will eat hunks of metal on other rivers?
I don't know what it is, but I mean, obviously fly fishing is the most prevalent and most effective method of
well,
fishing.
a lot of the guys using spinning rods are using a bobber with flies underneath it.
True. Yeah, floating fly kind of thing. But I mean, I just think they're eating bugs, and that's their diet. Yeah, I don't think they must eat some small fish. I think, but you don't see people like chucking streamers.
Well, I mean, I've tried.
Yeah,
it's not the most effective. I mean, I think you can do. I mean, the cool thing about the Lower Sac, though, because you and I have both had clients who are like, I only want to do this.
Yeah, and
you'll explain to them, all right, well, you just got to understand that it's not going to be as effective as you said, the indicator fishing, but you can do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had a number of clients who are like, we do not want to indicator fish today. And I'm like, okay, I'm happy to accommodate that.
Yeah.
Are you cool with dry dropper? And they'll be like, yeah, we'll do dry dropper. And you just do a dropper that's 8 feet long. I'm kidding. But, I'm sort of shockingly, when you use a chubby Chernobyl or some type of, hopper pattern, I actually have had pretty successful days where, different sections of the river, but like it fished really good, So I was shocked, actually. Yeah. It's like, oh, man, maybe we can do that.
And that's one thing I've always thought was odd about the Lower Sac is it's a catch and release river. You can't keep any of the wild trout. You can keep a couple of hatchery steelhead if you catch them. But it's legal and permissible to fish bait.
Yeah, makes no sense.
You can fish worms and roe and
they do.
Whatever.
They do.
You don't see a lot of that, but...
Well, there's guys that used to come up from San Francisco using crickets.
Yeah. San Jose.
Those guys.
No, I lived here when I was using crickets.
Even worse. Local boy. You heard it here. Local guy using crickets.
But I mean, the problem with using bait, obviously, is they'll swallow the hook and, that kind of thing. But you don't see that out there a lot. But, I don't know why it's permissible.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so Lower Sac's awesome. I love it. You love it. Yeah. We got it a lot. We should also mention it. You kind of hinted at that. It is really just such a great fishery for first timers. I mean, like so many of our clients started fly fishing on the Lower Sac. They learned, to do the water load casting, but it always leads to, other fishing options. And I think that's a good way to think about it. If you want to bring kids or a spouse or a partner that haven't fly fished or grandkids or anybody, that's probably the best place to do it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I've had a lot of kid trips this year.
Yeah, Grandpa Kev Dog.
So my boat, I'm able to put 2 seats in the front and take 3 people out. Most of our trips, the boats can only accommodate the guide and 2 fishermen.
Yeah, my drift boat's only going to have 2 anglers in it.
Yeah, but I can take 3.
Yeah.
The problem is only one of the 2 up front can fish at a time, but, I'll take out a parent and 2 kids or both parents and 1 kid or whatever, and we make it work. I mean, I had a trip not too long ago where a grandpa brought up his 9-year-old granddaughter. She'd been just bugging him to go fishing, and she did awesome. I mean, she crushed it.
Yeah.
She kids are very trainable if they're interested in what they're doing.
Kids are.
Yeah. And women are too.
Yes. Kids and women are the best.
But I mean, she was awesome. I mean, she just hammered fish all day long because she did exactly what I asked her to do, and she understood it, and she was so excited, And then I've had other kids that just want to be on their phone all day and check their IG or whatever. But if you have a youngster who's into it, I mean, we usually say like 10 is like minimum, but it depends on the kid and their aptitude and their desire. And it's fun to take kids fishing.
Yeah, I mean,
so excited.
Yeah, and I think those type of trips can be a lot of fun. I mean, a lot of that really is on us. I think as guides, we have to make it fun.
Right.
Where it's like I think we've kind of learned it's not always about the fishing, right? I mean, you got to have Sour Patch Kids. Yeah. You got to have hot chocolate. You got to be willing to pull over and look under rocks and
get the kids out of the boat.
That's why I think the summertime actually can be really fun for those type of trips because you can get out. It's also hot. You can swim. I don't know about swimming. My kids have cold. All the kids I guide. They generally are like, can I jump in? So, but you can do a lot of different things. So the Lower Sac's great for that.
Yeah, and the Lower Sac's also great for group trips. We get a lot of, I mean, we've had, 7 boat trips and stuff.
Man. Yeah, you and I have been on some
corporate,
doozies.
They're good corporate events.
That was a fun one. We did the corporate trip this year with the company,
Yeah, people like to do the group trips and bring friends, family, kids, neighbors, co-workers, or whatever to introduce them to fly fishing. And it's fun. We stay together all day and have lunch together, and everybody's giving each other a hard time. So those are great too.
Yeah. You try not to be the struggle bus boat.
The what?
But struggle bus. That's what I've heard about it.
Struggle bus.
I've guided some of these trips where the clients are like, we're struggle bus. And I'm like, I don't know what that means, but we're gonna be struggling all day. And it's like, oh, okay. So but those are fun. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're not always about just combat fishing and catching the most fish. They're about camaraderie and having fun with your friends and coworkers, and those are fun.
Yeah. I think the last trip that we did together was a group corporate trip, and you had a lady.
I had those two women. They were great.
Yeah, they were. I know the lady in the back of the boat giving me a hard time all day. What was up with that? What did you tell her? What were you telling her? Anyway, that was a good day.
Yeah, it was.
A lot of fun. So, well, let's talk. I mean, so what we have for Confluence, coming up, is we've got the Trinity River, and it's a indicator fishing, or there's also a lot of swing spay fishing too. We've got Randy Heyman, Brian Coleman. We've got a number of other guides that fish on the on the Trinity, and also kind of move around a lot too.
Like you.
Well, yeah, but I don't know what you're talking about. I'm pretty much top, but I do indicator, a lot more indicator.
Oh,
fishing.
right.
Yeah. So and I mean, that's really going to be it's the Trinity. I've been on the Trinity quite a bit, actually, a lot more this October than I historically have been. Normally, I'm a Lower Sac slave.
Yeah.
But this year I did a lot of Trinity River fishing, and the Trinity's been fishing awesome.
Yeah, we're booking a lot of trips on the Trinity.
Yeah.
I mean, I help out on the phones, help Andrew, and that's our main inquiry right now, is getting people up on the Trinity.
And it has been fishing,
and that's the reason why. It's the word is out. There's fish up there.
There's fish everywhere. And so. I'd say that the Trinity is more technical. So if people are wanting to get started, I generally say, hey, if you're smart, you should start on the Lower Sac day one, and then day two could be a Trinity trip. Because it's tight quarters. I mean, depending on what part of the river you're on, it might be a little bit less tight, but it's no matter what, it's going to be tight.
Yeah, you want to call it technical bobber fishing, but there's overhanging trees and rocks and.
Yeah, you're gonna need to be able to roll cast.
Yeah, you're right. A day on the Sac will get you sort of dialed in, and then you can go fish the Trinity.
Yeah, in fact, I've got one really good client I've been guiding for a long time. Is he's going to do some days. I think he's going to do 4 days in December, and so his plan is day one. He's bringing up a friend and his friend's wife and his wife, and so we're going to do day one, Lower Sac, just focus on getting a roll cast established a little bit, and then go do the Trinity for 3 days. And I was like, that sounds
what
awesome.
Can somebody expect, like going on a guided trip on the Trinity?
Heartache. Just kidding. No, I think,
I mean, just in general, people aren't familiar with steelhead fishing and the expectations.
So we're chasing, so it's steelhead are wild rainbow trout. There's also hatchery fish there too. But it's a rainbow trout that's gone out to the ocean and it's lived there for a year or two, maybe 3, and then come back, depending on what fishery you're on. So it's the same exact species that we catch on the Lower Sac or anywhere else, but they get bigger. They are, they're a lot of times people will consider it, the fish of 1,000 casts. It is definitely not a numbers game. There's certainly days where, you and I have fished over there where we've done really well. We're like, that was like a trout trip.
Yeah.
But it can be also a day where you work really, really hard for one fish.
Yeah.
But it's the fish because it might be 26, 27, 28 inches, The largest fish that I've had clients land on the Trinity River have been, between 30 and 32 inches. That's big fish.
Nice.
Yeah, but you catch a lot of 20 to 24 inch fish too, So you have a lot of large trout. What you can expect though is, the day could start early. It might start, when the sun's first coming up. You might start later, depending on the temperatures. A lot of times your guide, I would always just tell people to trust your guide, right? They're going to try to, fish when it's the best. But yeah, you're going to be doing indicator fishing if you're with me, more than likely. You might swing some runs too. But you're going to have 6 to 8 hours of floating down one of the most beautiful rivers in Northern California.
Yeah, it is beautiful.
Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
it's gorgeous.
Yeah, it might be cold.
It will be cold.
It might be rainy.
And snowing.
And it might snow. Although, I feel like a lot of the times, the weather, generally the river fishes I mean, right now it's super low and clear. It's like 290 out of the Lewiston Dam. There's not a lot of rain coming in, but we're still catching. I mean, like I said, we've had some great days with it being low and clear. But historically, I think when the river gets affected by rain and the river's on the rise, it rises and it might blow out for a day or two. The nice thing about the Trinity is it comes back really quick, right? It doesn't blow out for weeks. There's a lot of rivers that I've fished, that if it blows out, it's like you're done for a week or two, But this river comes back after a day or two. But generally, it's the best steelheading is when it's on the drop. It's got a little bit of color in it. Yeah. I mean, I think our first trips that we did together on group trips, we just happened to be there, and it was like that. And it was like you told me, you're like, every time I look over it, your guys are hooked up. And I was like, we're getting lucky today.
So steelheading, I mean, dyed-in-the-wool steelheaders know this, but I mean, it's all about managing your expectations.
Totally.
And just not, don't blow your brains out if you get skunked. Get one hookup or whatever. You're chasing an animal that's may or may not be there.
I mean, there's plenty of times, I think, when you're steelheading and you're fishing empty water.
They're on the move. They're not like the Sac where they're in a holding water and whatever.
But there's just something. I mean, it's a lot of people get all esoteric and philosophical about steelhead for sure. But there's something about holding a fish that's went out to the ocean, that lived in the ocean, that survived, sharks and whales, and then has to survive nets and seals and all that type of stuff. It's pretty. I mean, it really is. It's a beautiful fish. Now, when you let it go, it's like, it's pretty awesome moment.
And I have a hard time explaining that to people that steelhead is the same exact animal as some little 6-inch rainbow you caught up in a creek. It's the same. I mean,
there's no genetic difference.
There's no scientific. Their name is the same. Latin species and everything.
I mean, they're awesome. They're just big. And
I mean, you catch like a 35-inch steelhead up in British Columbia. It's a steelhead. But on the Sac, you could catch a 20-inch fish that may or may not be a steelhead. May or may not have gone to the ocean. Usually, you can there's something a little different about them. They have sort of an angry look about them, and they fight different. They do.
They look mad.
They do.
And I think you can also tell by scales, and there's a lot. There are some indications. But I mean. So, your expectations, what you can expect, I think, is on the Trinity, you can expect one of the most beautiful. I mean, all my clients are like, they're just like overwhelmed. Like, this is the most beautiful. I use the word romantic to describe it. It's romantic. It's, beautiful. You also are going to expect, fishing a lot of runs and a lot of drops. You're looking for specific water, and the fish they hold in different type of water throughout the season, right? So, when the water they're going to be in like a lot of fast riffly water earlier in the season. And then once we get into the winter time, they're going to be in the slow moving, deeper water. It's funny, for years, for a couple of years, at least on the Trinity, I would just blow through water. I'd be like, we're not. Actually, I know there was water that you fished with me one time and you were like,
frog
what?
Water.
You're fishing frog water. And then 5 minutes later, you were letting a big old steelhead go. So, but that was one of the things I learned, is that there was water that there was totally fish there. It just looked like slow, But Randy was talking to me about how, some of that water in the wintertime, it's actually more oxygenated when it's colder rather than in the, because Randy's the legend, man. But I mean, it was. So I think your expectations, I think you do have to manage it to where it's like, mentally, I think you have to tell yourself that if you hook one adult, not land, but you hook one adult steelhead, it was a successful day. But there's other days where you hook 7, or 8, and you're just like, geez.
But in my opinion, like, deciding what water to fish on the Trinity is easier than the Sac.
It's
for sure. Easier than looking out across 150 feet of water and going,
I agree.
Gee, where do I fish here?
Totally.
I mean, on the Trinity, it may be, 50 feet across or 30 feet across, and you're in, 6 inches of water, and there's a little trough over there. Well, you know where you're going to fish. Right?
Yeah. But I mean, on the other hand, too, though, and I'm not saying this because I thought this, but when I had James Garrettson, the About Trout YouTube phenomenon, shout out to James, when he came out and fished with me the first time, I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago, he came, it was funny, we've been friends for a long time, but mostly just internet friends,
Yeah.
But we were like talking, he's like, hey, he's like, I'm going to come out in October. Is October a good time to fish in California?
No.
I was like, bro, I got you. So I blocked off, and so I blocked it off, and we're friends, and I've gone out and fished with him in New Mexico. But anyway, he comes, and we fish the Trinity, and his observation was that it is a super technical river. Like, you do kind of have to know, because, that trough, there's the difference between 3 inches maybe,
right.
Having your bobber in the right spot, because we have a lot of these spots where it looks deeper than it is, or it looks shallower than it actually is. And yeah, so it can be pretty technical.
True.
The rowing's super technical.
So in places, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. In places. The whole river is technical. My boat can tell you scars, but yeah, so I think the expectation, but a lot of times as far as, the fishing goes, yeah, we're going to float sections that are probably going to average, would you say about 7 to 8 miles, your typical float?
Yeah, this time of year too, now that daylight savings is over, it gets dark up there quick.
3 o'clock.
Most of the time you're sheltered, I wouldn't call them exactly canyons, but there's hills and mountains.
Feels like canyons.
Yeah, it can be dark, out of the sunlight a lot of the day.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's like your window is kind of like, I guess, 6 to 5 is kind of your window, but 2 hours on either end are going to be pretty dark for sure. I'm super pumped. I got electric gloves this year.
Oh, nice.
And electric socks.
Wow. Temperature
controlled, Bluetooth temperature settings.
No electric underwear?
Not yet. That's next year. So, I had a couple days last year where I think it was not just cold, it was rainy. So it was like that, 33 degrees and just drenched the whole time. Miserable. But the thing is about those days, though, they're miserable, but those are generally the best days.
Yeah.
It's like, I was just, one of my favorite clients, Chuck, like last year, I think we dropped in and it was like 23 degrees and we were just like rod guides frozen, miserable. And I told him, I was like, I think it's going to be really slow fishing until about 11 or 12. And we had landed 5 adults in the first like 3 hours.
Nice.
And he's like, I thought it was going to be slow. And I was like, this is slow for me. Like, what do you say to that?
Yeah, that's really important to plan ahead what you're going to wear up
there.
Because
rain
once
gear.
you get a certain degree of freezing, it's hard to come back from that.
No, it's totally. I mean, I use I've got a little like stove that I can heat up water on. Mm-hmm. And so there were a couple days when I didn't have the heated gloves. I actually boiled hot water, poured it into a plastic cup, and I just put them in my jacket, and I just was holding it, and that was my only way to survive.
Important not to fall in up there too. Like,
don't fall in.
Like somebody I know.
Oh yeah, was that you?
No, I was with you.
I was with you. Yeah. So that wasn't my fault, actually.
Well, no.
I wasn't rowing. Andrew, the owner of Confluence, Mr. Trinity River, was rowing.
Yeah.
And he hit a rock. And I happened to not be doing what I should have been doing, which was sitting in that moment.
Yeah.
And then I think I flew out of the boat like maybe 8 feet.
You're lucky you didn't hit your head.
There were
rocks everywhere.
I am lucky, but that's how good I am.
Yeah.
I was doing some recon on the bottom of the river.
You were freezing the rest of the day.
Yeah. Well, remember, I mean, I had to fully submerged. Waders had to come off. Pants had to come off. It was in my boat, and I had everything strung out, like sun drying, and I was fishing in my underwear.
That's not fun, so don't fall.
I caught a steelhead in my underwear.
Nice.
Yeah.
Not everybody can say that.
No, it's true. So, but anyway, yeah. Thankfully, I had another jacket in my box that was dry. So,
yeah.
But so it does happen. But yeah, don't recommend it.
No.
I don't got anything else to say about that. So
yeah, and people are still asking about walk wade trips this time of year on the the Upper Sac and McLeod are open all year.
And also I can say we're the first week in November right now. the October caddis have shown up on the McLeod and the Upper Sac, and I got a report from one of our guides that said there were just a ton of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, walking away can be really good this time of year too.
Yeah.
So.
It's not something you would normally think of, this time of year, but we're still booking trips up there.
So I guess our encouragement for you, if you're looking for a place to go fishing, Trinity River is going to fish all the way up until March. It'll be awesome. It's been really awesome so far. The Lower Sac fishes pretty well. Wintertime, it might not be it's not going to be the same numbers of fish as in October and November, but December and January is generally where we have a lot of our largest fish. And February, March, April on the Lower Sac is awesome, depending on the flows. That's the big thing, like kind of what you were saying.
Yep.
Just so people are, they understand. Like we might be like, hey, we need to reschedule because the flows just went 10,000 CFS up.
Yeah, we have access to a flow forecast page, but as I remember correctly, they didn't really notify us.
They did not notify us last year. No. I was on the river one day where the water rose by 3,000 CFS while I was on the river.
Yeah,
and there were trees floating down the river. I was like, that's actually just not safe.
No,
like who's got the button?
Hopefully that won't happen again this year. But
they said that they're not going to do that again.
We'll deal with it.
Because all the guides made it known.
Yeah.
So, so those are the upcoming things. The Lake Shasta bass fishing in the spring was epic. It was a lot of fun. Ton of fish.
Yeah.
My youngest son, will only fish for bass.
Yeah,
he says he's done with trout.
That's really getting popular. So we'll be doing that. We've got another couple of semi-secret destinations that we can take you to.
If you hit Kevin or myself up, we will maybe tell you. Yeah. Well, it's been good to have a conversation with you. And
you too.
You got anything else to add?
Not really. I think that's it.
Okay, cool. Well, check out confluenceoutfitters.com. You can have all the information there. We're also on Instagram, we're on YouTube, and we are on Facebook. And we'd love to take you fishing. So we'll talk to you soon.